credit card number.
You guys make me laugh. Anyway, I was going to start off tonight with kind of some announcements. So remember, it's kind of wrapping up the end of the month. So hitting Success Club is always a priority, and making sure that you do that, or else having 500 PV in your account. So that way we get elite points or whatever for that. And in order to hit our goal of at the end of the year being elite, and those are just important things. I know hitting Success Club, I feel like sometimes a broken record on, but it is super important, just because I know in my business when I didn't hit Success Club, and it just, that's the times that I was like, oh gosh, like I should quit, or like I felt like I wasn't doing my job. And that's super important, just to be helping those 3 people a month. And it's not a lot, it's only 3 people. And I always tell myself that at the beginning of any new month, I'm like, it's only 3 people. And then also writing out your May goals for the month. So I just did mine today, actually. So, really thinking about like what you want to accomplish in May. And like some of my goals, of course, are hitting Success Club, being a 1-star diamond team, things like that, helping, 3 people in Taylor's account, helping 5 in mine, just things like that you can do to move your business forward. And then also I was going to talk to you guys about May challenge group dates. So for May prep weeks, I thought that we would do, to look at my planner here, that we would do the 7th and the 21st for prep weeks. So I'll probably need some help for those 2 weeks. So whoever wants to help will kind of like have it's kind of a sign-up sheet or something, probably like 4 or 5 people, whoever wants to help, and kind of take that over. And then also on this week, Wednesday, which is super important, is we'll have a team webinar all day on coaching. And so it's going to be different than the last one. So hopefully it works better. So I do have an event set up, but I also have a group, so that way people can add themselves. Like if they want to be in the event, or going to the event, then we can add them into the group. So be inviting to that, be posting about it, be sharing that link, be sharing the group link, so that way people can kind of add themselves too if they want. Be talking about that, like we posting. It's a Wednesday, so we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to share about it, and tonight too. So if you haven't done like your Sunday night call to action post, that would be a great time to talk about that sort of thing. And then I'll need like 4 people that day to possibly kind of share their stories. So if anybody wants to hop on and share their story, I know Erin had kind of talked about doing it, possibly that Wednesday would work good for her. So for sure, probably Erin, and of course I will be there. I'll share something in the morning, and then I'll share something in the evening also about coaching and things like that. So if anybody else wants to share, they're welcome. So I think, and that's going to be all day, so you don't have to have a set time. So that way, if you have a time that works better for you, so if it is in the morning or evening, you don't have to have a set time. You can just go live and in the group and talk about it. So, and then you can also add whoever you want to, because you guys are all admins in there too. So, all right, I think that is all for announcements. So I'm going to hand it over to Kelsey. And maybe, Kelsey, if you just want to do like a little introduction too about yourself, so that way we can all get to know you a little bit better too.
Okay. Well, how much of what all do you want to know about me?
Just kind of do a little introduction just to you, whatever, like how you got started coaching, and kind of just more about you.
Okay. Well, I'm Kelsey. I am a physical therapist, so that's kind of what my talk is tonight. I'm pretty new at this whole coaching thing, so that's why we talked about relating it kind of back to my job. But I actually have been doing Beachbody workouts on and off for a couple years. I found them in PT school with one of my friends and classmates, but I didn't really stick to it necessarily. But once I got like my nutrition and stuff a little bit more down pat, I kind of stuck to it better. And then I decided to become a coach because I had good results with it and liked it, that sort of thing. I'm married. Obviously, I don't have any kids except my dog, who is a Great Dane, who thinks he's a human. So that's that. Is that good enough an introduction? Um, okay. So I work at an inpatient rehab facility, which means that patients are coming to me 3 hours a day. They're there specifically for therapy. They have to get either physical therapy, occupational therapy, or speech therapy. They have to have at least two of those three disciplines. So from like a coaching standpoint, with getting people to sign up, that sort of thing. A lot of people, their main reason of wanting to exercise and diet is to lose weight, but there's so many more benefits to exercise than just losing weight. And so I felt like that sharing those points with y'all might be like another selling point that you could use to get more people to join. Um, so one of them is exercise makes you happier. Obviously, we probably all know this, that we tend to be in a better mood once we exercise. It obviously decreases our stress. I know a lot of times if I've had a really bad day at work, going home to work out helps me, and it helps me put work aside so I don't always bring work home. But I know that some people, not all of y'all, have like full-time jobs outside of the house, and like coaching is a full-time job, but still I can imagine how it's stressful getting all of those things lined up and getting all the participants, that sort of thing. But there's a lot of research that shows like parts of your brain actually change through exercise so that your stress and anxiety levels are lessened. And that also goes with depression as well. There's a lot of hormones and stuff that are activated so that you are like a happier person. And some of those hormones actually go along with like your perception of pain. So people who have like chronic low back pain or like fibromyalgia or some of these like pain disorders, doing certain things of exercise can actually help them feel better. And I know a lot of people are like, just want to diet to lose weight, but a lot of people have all these other comorbidities that exercise can help with. It also works on your energy levels. I know that, for us who like to work out in the mornings, you get up, you work out, you feel like you have energy for the entire day. And it goes along with the mood and the decrease in stress. So they kind of all go hand in hand. And you'll find that a lot of these things that I talk about kind of relate back to each other. So along with other brain stuff, we talk about like memory and just like your cognitive function. Your brain works better when you exercise. You're more awake, you're more aroused. It leads to better learning. Like I said, I know that when I changed my workout routine to do it in the mornings, I'm much more productive at work. I feel more awake. I am more interactive in meetings, more interactive with patients, that sort of thing. Memory is a big one that like I've kind of looked back on, like, because my grandpa passed away of Alzheimer's and my grandma now has dementia. But one of the things that I learned in undergrad, especially, there was like a study of nuns that they all lived to be like at least 95 years old and even up to, I think, 110, maybe. Don't quote me on that exactly. But they had saw that they had like no signs of Alzheimer's, like presenting it. Like if you were to talk with them, they did. But once they looked at their brain, they had full-blown Alzheimer's. So one thing they all had in common is they exercised routinely and they did a like cognitive task every day, whether it be like puzzles or reading or anything like that. So in order to increase your memory, exercise increases your heart rate, which in turn increases like your blood flow. So that means you're getting more oxygen to the brain. And there's a lot of research that shows like the part of your brain that is vital for memory actually grows. And so that it is really key in the prevention of dementia and Alzheimer's. And it also helps with sleep quality. I know that I exercise, I sleep really well at night. So I know as we age, sleep quality is like a really big thing. And a lot of times people turn to medications for sleep, which is not always like the greatest thing because you don't want to be on 15 different medicines. They interact with each other. There's a lot of adverse effects being on a lot of medicine. We all know that you obviously get stronger when you exercise, when you work out. But especially as women, as we age, we're at a really high risk for osteoporosis, which means that our bones can easily break, whether we fall, whether we sit down wrong. I've had patients before who like just sat down on the toilet and they broke their hip. So exercise, if you're doing a lot of weight-bearing activities and like high-impact activities, kind of like ADD obsession, I would guess, it actually helps your bones grow because bones react to the stress that's like placed upon them. So, you know, you're rebuilding the bone from the outside or from the inside out, excuse me. So that way you're just kind of stronger all the way through, not just your muscles, but your bones as well. And it also helps with arthritis, like osteoarthritis. It's kind of an easy way to explain it is your muscles are attached to your bones through tendons. So when your muscles are strong, it keeps the joints from like, I always explain it. So instead of being like this, like if our muscles are weak, our joints are like this and they're constantly rubbing. But like if your muscles are strong, they hold them in like the real alignment that they should be in. So they're not rubbing all together. So, you know, that's why exercise is really important for older people like that come to physical therapy, because they're in that pain. They want to have a knee replacement. They want to have a hip replacement or something, but strengthening it can actually decrease their pain. And it also just helps with fatigue. The stronger you are, the more endurance you have, that sort of thing. You don't get tired just by walking up a flight of steps or like playing with your kids, that sort of thing. And we all know about the weight loss aspect of it, so I really wasn't going to talk too much about that. There's also some benefits for like skin health. I know as women, as we age, we don't want to look our age. We want to look young, that sort of thing. So it actually helps delay the signs of aging because it helps your skin regenerate. You have more blood flow, like I said, with the heart rate increase. And it actually helps with like antioxidant protection. So you just look younger. But the big one that like from my standpoint with physical therapy and my patients, my main patient population is neurological patients, mainly with strokes. So they've kind of already gotten past the point of decreasing their risk factors, but in the same sense, they still have a lot of these comorbidities that exercise can help with. One of the big ones is heart disease. So that includes like coronary artery disease, heart attack, high blood pressure, that sort of thing. So exercising improves your cholesterol. So cholesterol is basically like plaque that builds up in your arteries. With exercise, you get more of your good cholesterol, which in turn lowers your bad cholesterol. Like good cholesterol goes in and like removes those little plaques from the artery so that you have instead of having like, it's so hard to portray, instead of having an artery here and you have like plaque built up all in here so that it ends up being like this amount of flow, it opens it up so you have good blood flow, which in turn lowers your blood pressure, which we all know that high blood pressure, that leads to heart attack, that leads to stroke, that sort of thing. You also, a lot of people forget that your heart's an actual muscle. I mean, obviously it's an organ, but the way it works is a muscle. So just like you exercise your quads or your glutes, you exercise your heart. So the stronger your heart muscle is, the better it pumps, which in turn means it's more efficient. It gets more blood flow out. It's not having to work as hard, that sort of thing. It also helps with diabetes, which diabetes is another risk factor for stroke and in turn heart disease in a sense. Exercise kind of acts like insulin. So a lot of diabetics who have to take a lot of doses of insulin if they add exercise to their daily routine, their blood sugars will continue to improve and like become where you want them. So you might not have to take as much insulin throughout the day. And I know some diabetics, depending on like what stage you're at, has even like gotten rid of insulin altogether. And also, it's more like improved like body composition in terms of fat mass versus fat-free mass, that sort of thing, which once your body composition improves, your confidence in yourself and your body image also improves, which is a huge ordeal. When you actually lower your fat mass and build more muscle, you have a higher metabolic rate, which means you burn more calories. So these people who just simply diet, a lot of times they're decreasing how many calories they put into their body. And yes, you lose weight by that, but you're not burning as many calories and your metabolic rate just kind of slows. So when you exercise on top of dieting and proper nutrition, it burns more calories, and it's a way to maintain that weight loss and fat loss for a longer period of time, because you are improving your muscle mass. And we all know like the stronger you get, the more calories you burn just sitting there. So that's kind of it. I know that's kind of fast and it's a lot of information, but if y'all have any questions, let me know.
I know I have to say, because I have rheumatoid arthritis, and so I know a lot of people always, especially at first, and I still get it too, is like, you work out so hard and like you're gonna hurt your joints, or like you're gonna hurt yourself. And like it's so funny because like I can tell, like, because I took this week off and I like ate whatever I wanted, and like I had cereal, I was eating, whatever. And so I can really tell, like, I'm so, like, in the morning I'm just stiff and I'm more swollen and I have more pain. Like my thumb is really hurting. That didn't happen. That wasn't happening before. And so I'm actually like really excited to get back to it. And so like when you said that, I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, that's so true. Because so many people are like, why are you working out so much? Like you're gonna hurt, your joints. And it's like, no, I feel so good. Like, and people ask me all the time, like, oh, you eat carbs and like, that doesn't cause a flare up or dairy. And no, it really doesn't. It's more about like, if you're working out, you just feel better. And like that helps. I know it does. It does help. And even for just movement and to keep that mobility and agility, up, will definitely help me in the long run.
Yeah. And I know like a lot of my patients are like, oh, I have arthritis. And I'm like, yeah, I know that. But they don't understand that like a painful mobile joint is a lot better than a painful stiff one, because once you get stiff and you stay stiff, when you try to move around, it's going to hurt that much more. But like I said, I work with like a lot of older patients, so theirs isn't necessarily like just weight loss. It's trying to get them to buy into the other aspects of exercise.
For sure. Yeah, and even my grandpa, he has had many joints replaced because he also has had RA for all of his life. And he was going to physical therapy like last fall quite a bit in this winter and things like that. And he was like lifting, like he was deadlifting, I think like, or lifting with his legs like 70 pounds. And like he was so proud of that. And he's like, man, I feel so good. I feel so much better after workout. And I was like, see, like. Does anybody else have any questions or anything else for Kelsey?
I just have to comment that like I feel like we're all, after listening to that, gonna have like such good content to post, because I know even once a week, or once every 2 weeks, posting like factual information like that is huge. And I feel like I'm gonna come to you, Kelsey, so much more now as
That's
like
fine.
backing me up, because you want, even when you're talking to potential challengers and they're, sometimes they're like, whoa, like, so what degree do you have in this? Or like, what is your certification? And I mean, it's all about, I mean, of course, in your case, you're an actual physical therapist, but also it's a lot of like experience and like just learning this stuff too. And I think if we can talk to these people with this knowledge, learning these things, in more detail is really going to be helpful. So thank you for that, because I just learned a lot more.
Well,
Yeah.
like I said, I know it was fast, so like if y'all have questions later, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, no, I agree. I took 2 pages of notes because I was like, I want to make sure that I get everything, because sometimes as coaches we get so monotonous and we're like, yeah, it's healthy, we feel good, we're strong, and that's but there is so much more, like you said, there's so much more than just weight loss and dieting, that's why people diets don't work, because people basically starve themselves and then they end up going back, in a couple of weeks anyway, where exercise is actually the key. And I know Shalene Johnson always talks about that too on her podcast. Exercise has so many more benefits than just weight loss, and we shouldn't think about it like weight loss and a punishment. If we have to lose weight, we should think about it as something fun, that we do for ourselves.
And a lot of times we have to tell patients, and y'all may have not heard this before, but they always say if exercise came in a drug form, it would be the most prescribed drug in the history of ever. Everybody would prescribe that as a drug, where our society is so focused on, I guess, the quick and the now, where just give me a pill to fix it. And I know reading the Side Edge, it kind of talks about that too, but exercise has so many benefits, and I feel I touched on some of the important ones, but there's so many more that go around. And like I said, one of the reasons I talked about that is because when I'm reaching out to people, I'm thinking about people my age and that sort of thing, but that's not to say that somebody our parents' age, and I know Danielle had said that she signed up some of her parents and in-laws and stuff, so that's great, and that means older people can exercise too. They might not be able to do 80-day obsession yet, but there are some programs that would be great for them.
Yeah, and I think too is Kelsey, as you being a coach, and being able to use that, I don't want to say as your niche or however people say it, but that background and your platform, I think is going to be such an important factor that that I don't have. So that's what's going to set you apart, is all this knowledge that you have. I mean, people really are going to look up to that and respect you for that. So I think you should just use this and go with it, because that is such good, good information.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, great job, Kelsey. You did awesome. And if anybody else wants to do our team call, just let me know for next week. Sunday, I'm always open to letting somebody else do it. It's kind of nice sometimes to not have to think of topics. But if anybody else wants to do it, and it's really awesome, it's a great kind of inspiring, kind of empowering thing to be able to do. And I don't know, it's always fun to be able to hear somebody else's input besides just my own or Kristen's or whatever, because everybody runs their business different and has different ideas. Kristen, she showed the Google Streak, and I do something totally different, whereas my coaches hear how I do it, and I don't even think to tell them about Google Streak because that's how I do it. And so, then everybody was like, oh, Google Streak. And so that's something that I didn't even think about, so it's always great to hear that other people have different ideas, and especially about tips like this too, that's going to come in handy. Like I said, some of the things I knew, but some I just wanted to have them down on papers, that way when you do need content to post, you can come and look at all that stuff. So all right, if nobody has anything else, I'll let you all go. And then like I said, just kind of keep those announcements in mind, and keep our Wednesday night webinar in mind. And you can always just text me if you want to participate in that, or if you want to do a live, or you can just go live if you want. You don't have to tell me about it. But I just want to make sure that we do have a few people sign up. So if we do have people in there, that is just not me talking. So all right, I hope everybody has an awesome week, and I will get this recording up so that way anybody else can watch. So we'll talk to you guys later.